In this tutorial, I will guide you through the basic operations with the run registry tables. You can ask, which table is it? Well, it doesn't matter, because all the tables in the run registry applications are being rendered by the same component, so they have the same functionality. In general, the table is a set of columns with a title in the header and a set of rows. Data cells are being displayed in the intersection of rows and columns, and all the operations with the tables are just operations with the set of columns by changing order and the set of it, and the filtering of rows. Let's start from columns. To change the order in which columns appear and the columns themselves, you have to go to the table header, click Configure, Columns. In the Display tab, you see two tables. One table, the left table, lists available columns which are currently hidden from the view, and the right table shows columns that are being showed currently in the table in the right order. If you want to change the order in which columns appear currently in the table, you just click and drag the column from the visible columns table. For instance, we will change the order of dataset name and dataset state. Release it and you see the effect immediately. Change it back. If you want to add more columns to the table, you just click and drag from available columns to the visible column lists, like this. For instance, now we are adding an online flag to the datasets table. You see the online flag appeared in the place where you have put it in. We can change the order in the same way. If you want to remove it, you just do the same thing but to the opposite direction. You move it from visible columns to available column list and release it. Effect is immediate. Here in this view, you can change the width of the columns. For instance, dataset name is too wide. We want to reduce the width. Just type it, press enter, and you see the effect. If for some reason you have made your table hardly readable, then you can move back to the best fit for your screen by pressing reset column width. And the column widths are being reset for the best fit for your screen. Now let's go to the rows. Rows are pre-ordered in some way. If you want to change the order, you can quickly press on the column header and click Sort. Sort either orders rows by using this particular column or changes its direction. For instance, now you see all the rows, all the data sets listed in the ascending order by the dataset name. If you could click once again on Sort, the order will change. Now it's descending order. If you want to sort on more than one column, you have to go again to the Configure, Columns. There is a tab Sorting, and you see Available for Sorting Columns, which basically lists all the columns that are not being used for sorting, and the sorting columns. Let's move back to the same sorting that we had previously. We had run number in descending order and dataset name in ascending order. Click Apply. So you have two ways of sorting. You can click quickly on the header, or you can move to the Configure, Columns, Sorting tab. To limit the number of visible rows, you have two options. One is to apply filters The other one is to apply queries. Let's start from filters, which is a simple one. To filter all the completed data sets, we just click on the column header and type in completed. And we see only those data sets which are in completed state. We can add some more filtering. For instance, CSC status is bad. Enter. And you see the filter. DT status could be bad as well. So we have limited the number of rows to 9 items. To remove a filter from a particular column, you just click on a header again and click clear filter. And this particular filter was removed from the filter list. If you want to remove all the filters at once, you can press here the remove link, and all the filters were removed in one click. Available options for the filters are displayed when you hover over the filter. For instance, this is enumeration filter, and it gives a couple of examples and allowed operators. For instance, we want all the dataset states except sign off. So you see that we have completed and open these datasets displayed. The more advanced row limiting technique is querying. And for instance, we want to repeat the same filters for the completed datasets, but to get all the datasets where CSC or DT was bad. This is not possible with filters. So what we do, we click Configure, Query, and you see a new dialog box appearing where we have a possibility to type in the query, to select columns, and to select various operations. Let's apply for the query for the dataset state in completed. We select by the name dataset state. You see it here. We click on it. We have a placeholder for the column. Then we add equals completed. Press apply. Just exactly as in filter case, we have the same rows displayed. Now we want to add and CSC status equals bad. Apply. Or DT status equals bad. And we need some more tweak. Apply, and we see the result. Now let's assume that we want a different filter to list all the completed data sets for the runs where B field was on. Click remove the current query. After a quick look into the columns list, we see that we don't have B field here. So this might be a feature not of a data set but of a run. We have to add a run column to the visible column list, and this run is actually not a dummy run number like here, long type, but this is a object of a table. So we click on run, filter, and we want to apply a filter on the B field. It is not visible here. Let's go to the column list. Oh yes, it is available. We drag in to the visible column list the B field, and we see B field available here, and we apply a filter. So now we have a list of all runs with a B field on, and this is a filter on the run table which comes from the datasets. We go back to the datasets table, and we see that filter was applied on this run column, which is not a simple column, which is a table by itself. But these datasets are limited to those runs which have the row in the filtered table we just have applied. So now what's left is just to apply a filter on dataset state. And we've got 83 rows filtered. The last thing that people usually want to do in a data table, once we have applied the right filters or queries, once we see the right set of columns, we want to get the data out. You can go on the table header, click to export, and you will see the predefined set of export options. You can get data to the comma separated values for the spreadsheet, HTML as a simple HTML table, JSON format, table separated values in textual format opened by the spreadsheet as well, and XML format. Let's try HTML. And you see the same columns in the same order and the same rows in a plain HTML format. XML. The difference with the previous run register application is that these predefined export formats show only visible columns in the defined order. The hidden columns are not being exported. But if you have export rights for the workspace, you can create your own custom template, which we will try to do right now. For instance, we want to get a list, comma separated list of run numbers. We click edit custom templates, and we see that we don't have yet a template, so we can click on new primary. The templates could be primary or secondary, and secondary XSLT transformation. Primary is applied on the data table itself. Secondary templates are applied on the output of a primary template. So we create a primary template. We have to type a title. Okay, let's make it run number list, run numbers. Okay, here is a header template. We don't want a header, we want just the body. From the column list, we select item and run number. Click here. Textual format, yes. Press on preview tab. You see the list of all the runs. Okay, we want to add the comma here. Preview. Yes, we see the list of all the run numbers. But we don't want a comma for the last item. What we can do? We can go to the manual, and in this manual you can see the introduction and the examples of the conditions and templates. and here we see that there is a special flag is lost. Returns true if this is the last row in the table. Okay, this is what actually we wanted to. We copy it over, go back to the template edit screen, paste it, okay, add a comma again. If it's the last one, then add a comma. Compile, yes, compilation successful. Preview. Oh, okay, now we have only the last one comma. Okay, we want it vice versa, so we add not the last one. Compile, compiles, preview. Okay, this is the output we wanted to. Okay, now we can save it, and we have one template already defined. Go back to the table, filters remain, go to the export, and you see that under user we have additional template called run numbers. Click it, open, and you see the output. This is how the custom templates are being created. Experts can create templates and make them public, so everybody could use the template. And this was actually the functionality, the common functionality of all the run registry tables. You can find those tables everywhere. For instance, to list users of a workspace, runs, data sets, and etc, etc, everything. Even the template list of templates is exactly the same table with all the configure, exports, filtering options, and so on. So you can benefit out of this in any table that you encounter in the run registry. That's it for this tutorial. Have fun.